Well, this is the latest exhibition at the town hall. It's the Jersey Development Company. I'm not quite sure what they're showing us really. The title is Building a Better Jersey. Well, the better certainly doesn't start with their published information, which is the usual dreadful substandard. Here's the leaflet issue greets you as you come in, which I've opened up here. I mean, look at this, look. Virtually impossible to read it. Very small white print on a black background, which is, they obviously don't want us to read it, do they? They've got a decent sized print for some words, and the diagrams, I love these diagrams, you can't see what they are. It really is, at this stage, in 2022, anti-discrimination law, they don't give a damn, really, do they? They really don't give a damn. You know, when you see it. I don't know if there's anybody here who will speak to me, but we shall. See, look, our commitment to owner-occupiers, this is it, if I can get it on camera. Our commitment to owner-occupiers and first-time buyers. Well, what proportion of the island is that? How many first-time buyers are there out there, waiting, queuing, knocking on doors? How many of those will never be able to afford a property of their own? I've got some figures in my head. They've got some figures there, look. 50%, it says, 56% of the proposed waterfront will be open space. Well, when I got out my car yesterday, if my car hadn't been there, I would have been blown over on the ground. It was so windy, so waterfront open space, I don't know. Is that a good idea? I can't read what that says. I don't know what that says there. We'll have to have eyes that magnify to read all this stuff. Let's go and see what we can find on the display. It's not a very big exhibition.
We've moved out.
Building a better Jersey, it says. Building a better Jersey. There we are. Now those, presumably that's the old girls' school, and they're presumably claiming as Jersey Development Company developments as some sort of better. Better than what?
Yes. There's a period.
So you can see they've got the usual format of information pinned to a wall, very small print size, too high for lots of people, very confusing illustrations, look very pretty, yes they look very pretty, but what do they mean? What do they mean? Oh dear. I know it's difficult. How do you get over to somebody if you show a building? There you are, there's the old fort. How many 100 feet long the fort is? How do you show that on an A4 piece of paper or on an A3 piece of paper? Now there's a classic one, look at this. It's red print, very small red print, pink print, proposals for South Hill. I presume that's what this is centred on, the South Hill development. I mean, there's what looks like it's always to say what looks like, the hideous external appearance of the building. But that's not the important part, really, is it? It wouldn't matter if they were ugly, if they perform certain functions. It doesn't matter, really. We obsess about what does it look like. But as far as information is concerned, it has to be accessible. And I'm afraid, as always with these little presentations, The information is never accessible, or never easily accessible. They forget that not everybody's a 25-year-old rugby player, you know. So there's a picture of a man with his baby on the balcony. What's it say? Natural facade. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're telling us. I don't know what they're telling us. Whether we'll find anybody to talk us through it, I just don't know. This is green. Green on white, very small green lettering. Very difficult to read. And you've got even these overprints. Overprint, plan colonisation. Probably a perfectly valid point. But overprinting on colour is a disaster. So these are proposals for South Hill, which is where the old planning office used to be, or still there. They haven't demolished it yet. Well, I think this is supposed to be a consultation presentation. Now, what people do with their thoughts, I'm not quite sure. And who's listening, I have no idea. By any standards, if you live in the centre of a city, it's a fabulous sight, isn't it? Overlooking the sea, overlooking the harbour. I mean, there are loads of plus points for it. But really, is this making the best use of it? I can't really tell you. I've got no idea, because I can't really get to grips with it as they presented it. I presume that's the extent. I'll see if there's anybody here who will say a few words.